All right, so now we're going to talk about the wind correction angle. So I'm going to give you a series of problems, and we're just going to walk through this. So let's talk about the first one. The heading, the wind is going to be 220 at 36 knots. So up at the top here, rotate to, you'll see 220. So it's right over here. I'm going to zoom in so we can get super precise because it really matters. Okay. Now 220 under the 2 index, 36 knots. We got to mark this in there. So I always point this at 100. I'm looking at the center grommet here at on the 100 line, and what is it? 36 knots. So 110, 120, 130, 135, 136. Super precise as a bowling ball. It's close enough. Okay. Now 160 knots true airspeed. Now, the course is going to be 263. All right, so we find 263. So 260, 1, 2, and 3. So 1, 2, and 3. That looks good. So now 263. And then the next thing we do is slide the pencil mark over the true airspeed of 162. So 162. So hold on, let's go all the way up. So there's 161, 162. You can kind of see that right there, 162. Okay. And now we read what's under the grommet. But also we're going to see this wind correction angle over here, right? So we have a wind correction angle of 9 degrees to the left under the pencil mark. So there's 9. Yeah, I would say a solid 8.5, but we'll just round it up to 9. Then we can also get our ground speed, but for now we're just going for the wind correction angle. So subtract 9 from 263 to get 254. So then the idea is when we in this scenario, when we are trying to hold a course of 263, but we have a left quartering headwind that's going to push us off course, we need to turn into the wind a small amount to be able to track along our course with this wind. And we need to know how many degrees we need to turn, and this is what it tells us. It tells us we need to turn basically 8.5, 9 degrees, we'll round up 9 degrees to the left. So 263 subtract 9 is because we're going to the left, which is decreasing in heading numbers, gets us that 254. So, all right, let's do another one. All right, heading, here we go. I'll just zoom this up. Heading wind from 180 at 19. So let's set that in there. 180, right straight south. Is that good? That's good. At 19 knots. So I'm going to slide this down to 100 on the very bottom there. You can kind of see the grommet on 100, is it? Yeah, try and be precise. Fat fingers. All right. What are we at? 19 knots. So there's 120. So 19 is going to be right below. Okay. Now, course 355. Let's set 355. Remember the blue mark. Too many marks. 355. Looks like I have Tourette's in my hand. There, that's super precise. 355. All right, now let's go look at the blue mark. What are we at? 117 knots true. So set the blue mark at 117. So 120, 115, 116, 117 on the 117. And then we read what's on the grommet. So in this scenario, we have a left quartering tailwind that is pushing us faster. You can see that down here at 117, we're actually doing 136 over the ground. That's awesome. But what we're trying to do right now is get that wind correction angle. So looking at these angles here, we got 10 degrees, 5 degrees, and 1 degree. That we'll call that 1 degree. So literally it's 1 degree that we'll have to adjust. So subtract 1 degree from the course 355 to get 354. So that's how we do the wind correction angle to make sure that we stay on that course. Okay, let's do another one. I mean, if you have this already, feel free to like skip to the end of the lesson, but I love doing these just to kind of solidify your understanding. Okay. All right. Heading Now, wind is 150 at 25, so we're going to set wind first. So 150. Should have gone the other way. 150. There it is. Is that good? Man, I am splitting hairs. There it is. 150. And at 25 knots. So I'm going to set that grommet on 100 again. And then let's go back in the center. And 25 knots. So 125 is going to be like right there. I'm going to zoom in, hopefully, not move the whole thing. And let's get this precise. Well, darn it, slightly to the right, but whatever. Now, green dot. Remember the green dot. Now we're looking at course 91. So course of 91, which is over here, 90 and 91. It's close enough right there. Whatever. 91, and then 160 knots true airspeed. So what was that, green? Yeah, that was green. 160. So let's roll this up to 160, 150, green on 160 line. All right, so we got a green on 160. So in this scenario, you can see, all right, 160, but we have a little bit of a headwind because over the grommet is 151. So we have a right quartering headwind. And so we're going to have to hold a pretty good correction angle or angle of correction to adjust. And because we're going to the right, we're going to be adding these numbers. So you can see up here, this is the 5 degrees. This is the 10 degrees. This is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 6, 7, 8, 7, 7.5, 8. They say 7 over here, but I would have done 7.5. But like honestly, if you can hold a half a degree with the compass card, like I'll just give you my pilot's license right now. So 7 degrees. So 91 degrees was our desired course, and we add the 7 degrees to get the 98 degrees. 98 degrees heading is what we're going to be holding in order to track in the wind. Okay. All right. Last one for the heading. Wind 340. Let's zoom out just a skosh. 340, 340 up at the top there. And zoom in to get super precise. Anyways. All right, 340 at 13 knots. So let's set the grommet at 100, and we'll go up to 13. So 110, 111, 112, 113. See if we can get that more precise. I like that. That is actually precise right there. There we go. Okay, so it's a red dot. Remember red. All right, 13. So now 354 is our course. So 354, I can tell you right now it's already a headwind. 350, 1, 2, 3, 4, because there's 355 is that long one, so 354, and 104 knots true. So put the red dots on 104, 105, and 104. Sorry. Now look under the grommet, and we can see that we have a headwind. Obviously, it's a left quartering headwind, and it's at roughly 91, 92 knots, maybe 91.5 knots. But it's not very far off our course here. So basically we have 10 degrees, 5 degrees, 0 degrees, and this, if you follow this lineup, that's 1, that's 2. It's a little bit more towards 2. So we're going to call this 2 knots. What do they say? Yeah, subtract 2 knots because it is left. So left is least. So that's how I remember it anyways. And so 354 minus 2 is 352. And we see that over here in the answers. So that's how to do a heading correction for wind. I was also doing the ground speed, and it just helps my brain to understand, is it a headwind? Is it a tailwind? Is it left quartering? Is it right quartering? Is it, left quartering rear, tailwind, left, whatever. So yeah, here's how to adjust for wind with the E6B. Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more about helicopters, I have a free getting started course down below. I also have a course on how to pay for flight school, and my main course is literally teaching people how to get their private license. I'd love to help you out. We'll see you in the next video.